Its business has continued, and I'm Jerome Sonko. Yes, we are heading into the segment where we will be having a guest, and we will be analyzing some of these issues and discussing mainly on some of the headlines that have actually been making rounds across the country. Now, amongst which, over the weekend, a veterinary doctor was arrested as the National Drug Authority impounded drugs that were worth 163.5 million Ugandan shillings. And this is part of NDA's routine post-market surveillance. The NDA, the National Drug Authority's routine post-market surveillance, intended to protect the human and animal population from drugs and healthcare products that are substandard. And in this particular one, as this is a partly routine of the post-market, the National Drug Authority impounded drugs worth 163.5 million from illegal dealers during a 2-week law enforcement exercise in 3 sub-regions of Acholi, Karamoja, and Lango. Joining me to discuss more on this particular issue is Mr. Tamale James from the National Drug Authority, and he's joining us via Zoom, and he'll definitely be giving us more of the details first from this particular routine that takes place by the National Drug Authority. Mr. Tamale, thank you for joining us. Hope you are listening. I hope you're getting me.
Hello.
It's a pleasure hosting you and having you on the show. Thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you?
All right, now, Mr. Tamale, yes, I can hear you. Meanwhile, before we even digest into the situation, I want you to actually take us through your role at the National Drug Authority, and that is your position at the National Drug Authority, before we actually continue with our discussion today.
All right. William James Tamale, I'm the head regions, National Drug Authority. National Drug Authority is nationwide, and we have 8 regional offices. Those regional offices are based in Kampala. We are at Nakawa. We have Southwestern region in Mbarara. We have Western region with offices in Hoima. West Nile region with offices in Arua. Northern region with offices in Lira. Eastern region with offices in Tororo. And we also have the Southeastern region with offices in Jinja. So each of those regional managers, of each of those regions has regional managers, and I oversee all the work that's done by all the regions. And that is relating to mainly inspection and licensing of pharmacies.
Draw for us a picture of this particular routine that normally happens in surveillance. How often do you carry on this particular exercise?
Well, surveillance, I would say, is multifaceted. We have what we call routine surveillance, which consists of inspecting facilities for compliance. Now, by facilities, here we are referring to pharmacies and drug shops, which we inspect for compliance to the law and various aspects of the law. That's routine, which happens every day. Then we do have surveillance, which is intelligence-based, especially when we get reports or complaints regarding either illegal, unethical practices. So then we go out to investigate those or to take action with regard to those. Then we have what we call now actual enforcement activities, which I know many of you see on the various TV stations. Now, these are, I don't want to call them like routine, but they happen regularly throughout all the regions. And these are targeted at what we call illegal pharmacies. That is, pharmacies and drug shops that are operating without licenses. Now, as we know that the law, the National Drug Policy and Authority Act, requires that every pharmacy or drug shop should be licensed. And we do know that there are a number that try to go around the law and operate without getting any authorization from the National Drug Authority. Now, these are the ones that we feel are a public health hazard. And we have these, what we call enforcement activities to really target these illegal outlets.
Stan has actually arrested a number of people in regards to the issue concerning the 163.5 million drugs that was actually impounded. First, take us through this particular incident and how far did you go on to trace this particular issue?
All right, maybe just to give you, I think, a brief about this, because we do this in each of the regions that we go to, especially when we are targeting illegal outlets. One, the public needs to know that once we find an outlet without a license, that outlet is closed, because now, and we do know that drugs or medicines are special items that have to be handled in the presence of qualified personnel because of the danger that can also arise out of either irrational use, irrational prescribing, and aspects like that. So we make sure that these outlets are closed. Now, by closing them, we also, because they are operating illegally, these medicines are impounded. In other words, are removed from the outlet into our custody. Now, one, why they put it to our custody? There are two avenues out of that. One, there could be administrative issues that need to be rectified by the, I would say, by the culprits, that is the pharmacy that is operating illegally. Now, if these are rectified, in other words, and the outlet gets licensed, then these medicines are given back to the clients. However, if the facility is what I would say purely illegal and there is no end in seeing it licensed, then ideally these medicines are forfeited. By that, it means that because the law allows National Drug Authority to hold this for a specific period of time, and that's why we go through the various court processes, and these medicines are later destroyed. So, and as you realize that usually some people are arrested, and that because they've broken the law. Actually, there are about 2 counts to that, and these are usually charged in the courts of law.
Okay, now, Mr. Tamale, I understand that most of these people who are caught into this issue are those operating under pharmacies. And the National Drug Authority use, if it were to give out, let me say, drugs to the pharmacies, and which pharmacy and which criteria is used to actually identify that this pharmacy is supposed to be operating under the law?
All right. One. Now. Sorry. Once starting up a pharmacy is a multi-step process, and which has to be followed till the point of licensure. Now, if a pharmacy meets the minimum requirements and that are well enumerated within the law, then this pharmacy is licensed. So, a licensed pharmacy must have the licenses clearly displayed at the premises. Okay, so, and we do have online registers for such, so we can tell that a pharmacy is what? Is illegal, and necessary action has to be done. Yeah, so to the public, every pharmacy that anyone walks into should be able to display their license, visibly, so that you can be able to access it. And it's your right to demand that you see this license. If for any reason you doubt that a pharmacy is licensed, feel free to get in touch with us at any of our regional offices, or we do have toll-free numbers, which can be, you can call, or even WhatsApp numbers that you can reach out to, and then we'll investigate this issues.
And I'd also want to understand, don't you think the issue of these drugs going to the different pharmacies may be because of the truck drivers? Haven't you heard of any cases where the truck drivers indulge in these particular activities of selling drugs to the different pharmacies in different regions?
Now, it depends, because one, there's what we call, every medicine that gets into the country must come in, must be one, authorized, and must come in the right manner. So we do get instances of drugs being smuggled into the country. And one way that the National Drug Authority follows this up is to ensure that all pharmacies, when they're purchasing medicines, must purchase medicines from licensed outlets. And they must keep record of all purchases. So where there's any information that gets to the National Drug Authority, which indicates that probably drugs or medicines came in, those are some of the things we look for: purchase records and, things like that. Now, if you're found with a drug or medicines that came into the country in an unauthorized manner, then the various charges will be instituted against the offending pharmacy or person that is involved. So we do call out on all pharmacies and all drug shops to ensure that when they're purchasing medicines, they purchase from licensed outlets. They shouldn't purchase just from any what I would call marauding trucks or briefcase people, because then that will lead to punitive measures being meted out on any person who's a culprit.
If we were to focus more on an issue is coming from, actually, about the issue of the drugs that were impounded from one of which is Ave Maria Drug Shop in Otuka District. I would want to understand where, after impounding these drugs, what are the penalties that are faced by these people? And then two, where are the drugs taken?
One, for all drugs that we impound, these are taken, as I said, into the custody of National Drug Authority. And these are held by us, pending either of two courses of actions, which, as I said, there could be administrative issues that can be resolved that will ensure that this outlet is licensed. That's one. And upon licensure, these medicines are returned. Two would be the avenue whereby there is no likelihood that this facility will be licensed. Then those medicines are forfeited. In other words, they will not be returned to the culprits. Then the other thing is that charges are usually preferred against the people found operating outlets without licenses, because by doing so, they've actually broken the law. They've broken the law. So then these are usually charged. As I said, charges are preferred against and usually taken to court for operating the business of pharmacies with a license. So those are the avenues. So what people should know is that the cost of operating an illegal facility is high. We may not be everywhere at the same time, but we'll ensure that we keep surveilling, we keep moving out to the field and obviously acting on reports from the various communities. So we all need to work together to ensure that the people that are serving the public are licensed people, they're following the law, and anybody that is really not following the law, then we'll have to meet the consequences.
This question, in your opinion, why do you think we have cases of smuggling in drugs? Because one would think drugs are things that people would not want to risk their life into, because it would cause damage to people's health. But what do you think people are actually engaging in this activity of smuggling them?
One, I believe there could be, it's a multitude of reasons. One, ignorance. Could be some people think that medicines are just like any other essential product, and not knowing that these are special items that are highly regulated and people need to follow the rules. So one is probably ignorance. Two, it's some people probably have just decided to subscribe to a culture of being non-compliant, if I may call it that they know that it is wrong, but they go all the way out to do that. And probably because they're looking at, if I'm non-compliant, it means that there are costs I don't have to meet, because for any regulated business, it means that there are costs to ensuring that you're compliant, all right? Maybe paying for licenses, ensuring that you have the right personnel. Now, people who are non-compliant will not pay for the license, will probably have unqualified personnel. So that could be the other reason. So one, I believe it's ignorance. The other, some people have decided just to subscribe to the notion of operating in a non-compliant manner.
Mr. Tamale, as we are trying to wind up with this particular discussion, I'd also want, what is the system of transportation of these drugs from the National Drug Authority to the different centers or the different health centers? How is this system and how long does it take?
Maybe now, just maybe to provide more light and guidance, that the government has a number of arms, especially where medicines are concerned. Now, National Drug Authority regulates the manufacture, import, and distribution of medicines in the country, amongst other things, like ensuring that they have quality and such aspects. Now, there's another entity which is called a government entity, which is called National Medical Stores. Now, National Medical Stores is empowered by law to distribute medicines in all public health facilities. Okay, not private, public health facilities. So it is the duty of National Medical Stores to distribute medicines to all the health centers of government. All right. National Drug Authority, for it, looks at, as I said, both public and private sector. Okay, we do not deal with the aspects of distributing medicines, but we focus on ensuring that the medicines that are manufactured or imported or distributed in the country are authorized, are of the right quality. Basically, that's that. So at times, people tend to mix up the two entities, but NMS, National Medical Stores, is responsible for distribution in the public sector of medicines, in the public sector. Yes.
He's not responsible for that. Wow, that's clear, and I'm quick to say I've actually noticed that as well now with the National Medical Store. Okay. Now, as we are winding out, as we are ending, I would like to give you this. This is as the last question in regards to the issue that we're talking about. If we had to look at the situation that we're in currently, we're having issues of COVID, we're having issues of other diseases that are actually taking place. What is your view on the state of the health sector in Uganda?
Well, I know with the advent, let me call it, of COVID from last year, the health needs of the country have gone up. But I believe the health sector has made great strides, is improving. And I know with the challenges of COVID, I know it has opened up quite a number of challenge fronts, if I may do that. But I think the government, through its various arms, the National Drug Authority, National Medical Stores, all under the guidance of the Ministry of Health, all the health professional councils, okay, and associations have done a great job in ensuring that the masses are educated and sensitized about the need for ensuring that they live in a healthy manner, but also to see how we close the gaps that have probably been there in the health sector. And I think the government is doing a good job. We still have way to go, but I think all the arms are doing a great job in ensuring that the health of the people of Uganda is well protected and improved.
Very much, Mr. Tamale James, for your time and giving us some of your analysis in regards to the issue. And thanks for the discussion. And definitely saying thank you very much. And I hope we shall do it next time as well. Thank you for sparing your to the viewers of
welcome.
Smart 24 TV.
Thank you. Thank you so much and have a good day.
James Tamale from the National Drug Authority. What he has actually said is that the National Drug Authority is not responsible for the distribution of the drugs, but it's responsible for making sure that the drugs are put in place at the National Drug Authority. But however, the National Medical Store is in charge of distribution to the different health centers in Uganda or to the public as well, and also did caution on the idea of the fact that anyone caught in smuggling deals of drugs will definitely be penalized greatly. And this is because most of you are doing this out of ignorance and naivety. So I'm definitely seeing the issues regarding smuggling from Tanzania and Kenya. People smuggling drugs. You are risking the health of fellow Ugandans by doing so, because most probably when you smuggle goods that are not having accreditation from the National Drug Authority and not distributed by the National Medical Store, you definitely be damaging the health of the Ugandans. And this is to the public out there: stay very cautious in regards to the drugs that you're getting from different health centers as well as from the pharmacies. Make sure the pharmacy that you're going to buy drugs from is definitely licensed or has actually got a license from the National Drug Authority. And that particular one, that brings us to the end of our discussion in regards to that issue of more of that. But then after the break, I'll be discussing more of the tourism, that is the story regarding the tourism board that was set on during the tourism day on the 27th of September 2021 in Kampala. We'll be back shortly.